Boy, oh boy, I've been waiting to talk about the man himself on this channel for quite a while now, but I just haven't really managed to get around to, recording the video on him. And I'm sure, as you can tell by the title of the video, I will be talking about engaging how strong Mumen Rider actually is. But before we get into all the good stuff, make sure you leave a like on the video because it helps out the video a lot more than you think. And check out the playlists on the channel, and you can, maybe watch some more One Punch Man stuff, or maybe watch some other series I mainly cover on the channel. By the way, I made a video on Sasaki Kojiro from Record of Ragnarok like 2 or 3 days ago, and that video is doing pretty damn bad at the moment compared to a lot of my other videos, so I would appreciate it if you check that video out after you've watched this one, because Record of Ragnarok and One Punch Man, they both are really, action-based series, and I see a lot of my viewers, who exclusively watch me for One Punch Man also liking Record of Ragnarok. So, check Record of Ragnarok out if you haven't already. Right, just to preface, this video isn't a joke video or a trolley video. This video is genuinely an attempt to gauge how strong the man himself, Mumen Rider, is. So to get a good idea of how strong he really is, we need to look at pretty much every encounter Mumen Rider has had with a monster, whether it was off-screen or on-screen. Actually, tell a lie, I don't actually think Mumen Rider has had any off-screen fights that we know of so far. And in all honesty, this video will probably be really short because, we're just talking about Mumen Rider. He's not really a main character in the series or a main hero in the series. So it might be a pretty short video. I don't know yet. But anyway, as I'm sure you all know, Mumen Rider is just a regular human. No special abilities or powers, just a regular nigga. Pretty similar to me actually, just I'm black. But as I was saying, actually before we talk about Mumen Rider's physical abilities, let's talk about who he actually is and his position in the hero society of One Punch Man. Now, Mumen Rider's real name is actually Satoru. We don't know his surname yet, but his hero alias, as we all know, is Mumen Rider. Satoru is 25 years old and is 170 centimeters tall, or 5'7", and weighs in and around 66 kilograms according to the wiki. So overall, he's pretty average when it comes to his height and weight. Mumen Rider, as some of you actually may not know, lives in City Z, which is the exact same as Saitama, which I find pretty funny, to be honest, because City Z is the most dangerous city to live in for even some heroes, let alone regular civilians. I'm assuming the reason Mumen Rider decides to live here is due to how cheap it is and how many monsters live there, because if you don't already know, if you're a C-class hero, you need to be relatively active when it comes to hero activity. Precisely performing a hero act, which normally entails defeating monsters at least once a week to maintain their position as a hero. Otherwise, they are removed from the hero registry, of course. Now, although C-class is the lowest rank there is, their overall strength does exceed an average person, which makes sense because not every average person can just become a hero in One Punch Man. Which leads perfectly to my next topic of discussion, which is Mumen Rider's physical abilities. Mumen Rider, despite his looks, actually has slightly enhanced strength and durability, which makes sense because, as I said earlier, despite C-class being the lowest rank, they still possess more strength than an average person, and considering Mumen Rider is the top of C-class would mean he's not only one of the physically strongest heroes in C-class, but probably one of the smartest, and obviously the one with the strongest sense of justice, which is supported by him literally having a 10 out of 10 score for justice according to the Hero Association. But as I was saying, an example of Mumen Rider's enhanced strength is when he was able to hurt a monster named Angry Grandpa, who was resistant to gunfire. And an example of his great durability is when he withstood an attack from Deep Sea King and also withstood having his head smashed in the ground multiple times by the man himself, Garo. Not only this, but he also survived a blow from Hammerhead with a battlesuit, which is stated to be able to send vehicles such as cars flying. Mumen Rider mainly fights with his hands, making him a hand-to-hand combatant, but he mainly relies on his speed with his bike. He also has a few named moves such as Justice Punch, Justice Kick, Justice Tackle, Justice Crane, High Kick, and the list goes on. I'm sure you get the idea by now. Mumen Rider also has some pretty useful equipment, mainly just his bike, but this bike is actually a pretty special bike because this bike can actually handle weights over 200 kilograms while moving at very high speeds, which could help when facing lower level monsters like wolf level threats or tiger level threats. But apart from that, that's pretty much all of his abilities. But one thing I will say is I respect Mumen Rider's personal honesty. He has been offered multiple times to move up and become a B-class hero, but he refuses because he believes he's not strong enough. which I actually kind of disagree with, because there are multiple B-class heroes who in overall rating he beats by quite a bit of a margin, and he's also pretty close to some of, you know, the more lower A-class heroes in terms of overall rating by the Hero Association. But just a random example, compare him to a B-class hero named Darkness Blade, whose rating is quite a bit lower than Mumen Rider's, who is in a lower class to him. So I would say Mumen Rider totally deserves to be at least a B-class hero, and maybe even a low A-class hero, depending on, you know, if Fubuki ever decides to move up to an A-class, because I'm sure Fubuki would love to take someone like Mumen Rider under her wing and join her, you know, her little group, which would obviously prevent Mumen Rider from moving to the A-class category. But now I think it's time to finally answer the question of the video: how strong is Mumen Rider? Now, personally, I like to gauge strength in One Punch Man through threat levels. So, for example, a high demon or a low tiger or a high god, whatever. Now, if I was to gauge how strong Mumen Rider is, I would say about a low to mid tiger level threat. Let me explain. Now, Mumen Rider actually fought a mysterious guy in the audiobooks called Angry Grandpa, and this mysterious being was resistant to bullets and was able to punch holes through tough concrete, and also released bursts of immense power. And Mumen Rider, as I've said earlier in this video, was able to damage Angry Grandpa, and from Angry Grandpa's abilities, I would say he's probably about a high tiger or maybe even a pseudo demon, depending on how angry he gets, obviously. But just from the fact that Mumen Rider could damage him is a pretty impressive feat, considering it's, you know, Mumen Rider. So my final verdict on Mumen Rider's strength is a low to mid tiger level threat, and that's pretty much it for this video, to be honest. This video was surprisingly fun to make. I'll probably make another video on Mumen Rider in the near future, because it's quite fun to talk about him, you know, since he's pretty weak compared to more focal heroes in the story. But apart from that, if you like the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on and set to all. And apart from that, I will see you in my next video.